Gatekeeping. When someone takes it upon themselves to decide who does or who does not have access or rights to a community or identity. Some common examples of this include people who claim they liked an artist or show before it was mainstream and labels anyone who's a new fan of said artist or show as a quote-unquote fake fan. People who refuse to share certain information with you, like where they buy their clothes from, what their favorite restaurants are, and where they like to hang out, with the intention of preventing others from discovering those things or places. But aside from those two, there are many other examples. Now, naturally, most people are against gatekeeping, and rightfully so, because at the end of the day, it's like, grow the fuck up, dude. Let people enjoy the things they want to enjoy. These things don't belong to you, and you have no right to exclude people from something that is meant to be enjoyed publicly. And while I agree with this argument, I also disagree, because I'd be lying if I said I've never been responsible for gatekeeping shit. In fact, I still do sometimes. And quite frankly, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Because when it comes to gatekeeping, I don't do it because I simply enjoy excluding others from stuff, or because I don't want people to enjoy the things I like. I do it because I don't want my hobbies or interests that I hold near and dear to my heart being corrupted by people who A, are fucking cringe, or B, don't have the same appreciation for these things that I do. Like, those are literally the only reasons why. And I'm sure a lot of you gatekeep for the same reasons. Like, imagine someone in your life that you absolutely can't stand, okay? Someone you find super annoying. Someone you wish you could publicly execute, okay? Now imagine that same person all of a sudden starts listening to your favorite artists, wearing the same clothes as you, and starts going around using the same words and phrases that you also use. So much so to the point where it's no longer cool anymore. Like, you absolutely cannot tell me that this wouldn't bother you. And it's not because you're the only one who's allowed to enjoy all those things. It's because your favorite interests and parts of your identity are now tainted by the fact that someone you strongly dislike, or even hate for that matter, enjoys them too, and have now made your interests theirs. Take this for example. Back in the year 2015, when I first discovered anime, you know, before it became super mainstream, I got heavily into Naruto, except at the time, it wasn't acceptable for people of the heterosexual community to like anime. So best believe I got made fun of for that shit every single day, okay? I would get called gay at school. People made fun of my Kakashi cosplay on Halloween. People would tell me that I probably watched hentai, which I did, but that's besides the point. Bottom line is, it was all too much for me to handle. At one point, I changed my profile picture on Xbox to Kakashi, and my fake friends at the time who bullied me relentlessly invited me to a party chat just to make fun of my profile picture for like 15 minutes straight. And best believe they tore my ass to shreds, okay? Pause. Except fast forward 2 years later to like 2017 when the SoundCloud era of rap became popular and people started making those dumbass pictures of rappers as anime characters. Those same motherfuckers that made fun of me all started watching anime too. Not only that, but they all changed their profile pictures on Xbox to Dragon Ball Z characters, started asking me for anime recommendations, and worst of all, they all started reposting those shitty Naruto fucking XXX Tentacion edits on Instagram, as if they weren't just shitting on me a few years prior. And needless to say, I was fucking pissed, okay? In fact, I still am, because what the fuck? These deplorable individuals who treated me like garbage hijacked something I love and pretended as if it was their own from the very start. This right here is why a lot of us are in favor of gatekeeping. It's not that we don't want others to enjoy the things we love. That would be stupid. It's that we don't want the wrong people enjoying the things we love. But not only are things like anime and TV shows susceptible to this sort of corruption, things like words are too. It's like when Drake released his generational masterpiece, The Motto, featuring Lil Wayne, back in 2011. And in the song he says, "Now she want a photo, you already know though. You only live once, that's the motto, N-word. YOLO. YOLO. You only live once." What a linguistic paragon. Aubrey Drake Graham, being the innovative and distinguished gentleman that he is, decided to share this new term he coined with the world, in hopes that it would get passed around and become a household term that everyone would eventually use. And by the grace of God, it did. Because after the motto's release, everyone and their mother started saying YOLO. Kids started saying YOLO. Adults started saying YOLO. Even other celebrities started saying YOLO. YOLO was inescapable. In fact, it became a new way of life. Except some time passed, and like most things that are cool and unique, the term YOLO not only got hijacked by people who were cringe, it got taken over by big corporations as well. Like, not only would millennials put hashtag YOLO in all of their Instagram or Facebook captions, or say it unironically in real life with their friends, you'd go to Walmart or Target and see a bunch of YOLO shirts everywhere, or some other shitty YOLO merch like YOLO hats or YOLO wristbands. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if they had YOLO condoms at one point. Like, that shit was everywhere. And the worst part about all this is the fact that people didn't even associate it with Drake anymore. It just became a cringe word that eventually died off after a couple months, and now no one says it. The moment my elementary school principal said it at an assembly one time, I knew it was over. But had Drake decided never to say it in his song and gatekeep it like he should have in the first place, we might have still had it to this day. And there wouldn't be a bunch of YOLO condoms floating around in the ocean somewhere right now, probably killing the turtles as we speak. So yeah, not only does gatekeeping prevent cringe people from destroying things, it keeps certain things exclusive, which makes those things cooler. And in my opinion, it also makes those things more valuable. For example, think about Michael Jackson's album, Thriller. Thriller is a sonic masterpiece through and through, okay? Some of the greatest songs ever written. Some of the greatest musical arrangements to ever grace our realm of existence. And I can confidently say it's in my top 10 albums of all time. I love Thriller with every fiber of my being, okay? Except, despite the accolades it's received, and despite how great of a project it is, it gets played every hour of every single day on basically every radio station across the world. It's literally the best-selling album of all time statistically, and I guarantee you there isn't a single living being that doesn't know about Thriller. I literally came out of the womb moonwalking, okay? It's undeniable that Thriller is a masterpiece, but there's nothing special about it anymore. It's overplayed, it's too accessible, and worst of all, it's lost its novelty. There's something very special about discovering something that not a lot of people know about, and when this is the case, you tend to have more of an appreciation for it. When something becomes too accessible or too mainstream, it stops feeling special because it's no longer a hidden gem anymore. It's sort of like supply and demand. The less of a certain resource there is, the more valuable it is, and the more accessible a resource is, the more it's forgotten about. My point being, gatekeeping is what prevents things like diamonds and gold from becoming things like cobblestone and dirt. And I'm more than happy to contribute to that cause. But I will admit that there are times where gatekeeping goes a bit too far and becomes cringe in and of itself. Because as much as we're trying to prevent cringe people from enjoying things, we ourselves become cringe for doing that. Taking it upon ourselves to prevent people from enjoying something that we ourselves probably had no part in making is cringe. Getting upset at people for discovering a hobby or interest of yours is cringe. Withholding information to make yourself seem cooler or more special than others because you know about something that they don't is fucking cringe. Because at the end of the day, none of this stuff belongs to us anyways, and if anything, the people who make all of these things we enjoy, like artists, or people who make movies, or even people who create new words, are probably just happy that they're able to influence generations of people with their creative works. So when we decide to gatekeep, yes, we're preventing people who are cringe from ruining the things we love, but we're also preventing the creative people who blessed us with their work from gaining more exposure and influencing more people. When exposure and influence were probably their main goals from the very beginning, which in my opinion is just as bad as corrupting an artist or show with your stupid, deplorable personality. So in conclusion, gatekeeping is cringe. Ruining things with your cringe personality is cringe. And if you're one of those guys who made fun of me back in 5th grade for liking Naruto, and you somehow found this video, not only are you cringe as well, but you should probably make sure to sleep with one eye open tonight because I might just gatekeep you from ever peeing again.